Are you feeling like the deck is just stacked against you? Like maybe the rules weren't written for you? Well, they seem to consistently work out better for others.
Yeah, it's a feeling you hear about quite a bit, actually. The sense among men that the landscape has shifted somehow. Maybe the old advantages aren't there, or they've even become, like, disadvantaged.
Exactly. And that feeling is really why today we're diving headfirst into this ebook. It grabs that whole idea and just doesn't let go.
Think of this as maybe the express lane to understanding a viewpoint that's definitely striking a chord with a lot of guys right now.
Right. Our aim isn't just a summary, you know. We want to really dissect the core arguments here.
Explore the why behind them, and ultimately help you get a deeper handle on this specific take on the modern male experience.
So this ebook we're looking at, it positions itself as a very straight shooting guide. For men who feel like society's kind of pulled the rug out from under them.
Yeah, it takes a hard look at relationships, marriage, and what the author sees as these big societal currents, things influenced heavily by feminist ideologies and what they specifically call Marxist thought.
Definitely a stark perspective. Apologetic.
Oh, completely. The author says right up front, this isn't for anyone easily triggered by certain terms.
Like toxic masculinity.
Yeah, exactly. It's very deliberate, forceful even, staking out a specific claim.
Absolutely. And based on what we've looked at, we're going to unpack some really fundamental ideas today.
We're talking about the author's perspective on evolutionary biology, how that shapes attraction.
And the financial side of things. Relationships, divorce, the realities men face there, according to the book.
And the argument that key institutions, maybe they've been, let's say, co-opted by certain ideology.
Right. And importantly, what strategies the book offers for men. How to navigate this landscape it portrays as, well, pretty adversarial.
These are, let's be honest, charged topics. And this ebook tackles them with a very, very specific lens, often controversial.
For sure. Our job here is to understand the logic, the points being made within that specific framework.
Yeah, not necessarily to debate if it's ultimately right or wrong, but to see how the argument is built.
Precisely. We want you, listening, to come away with a much clearer picture of the arguments being made, the evidence, or the reasoning used to back them up.
And maybe, consider how these ideas might intersect with your own life, your own observation.
Yeah, which leads to that question for you, doesn't it? How do these themes, biology, society, money, and relationships, perceived ideological shifts, how do they show up in your world? Or in the experiences of guys you know?
It's something to think about.
Definitely. So if this initial look has sparked your interest, you can grab the ebook yourself. It's on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books.
We'd recommend checking it out if this resonates.
And hey, if you find this kind of focused deep dive valuable,
Which we hope you do.
then please do like and subscribe to the deep dive. Helps us keep doing this.
Absolutely. And you can also find more content, more analysis by following @Conrad Riker on Substack.
Okay, at Conrad Riker on Substack. Got it. So let's really dig in now. The ebook starts by painting a pretty bleak picture for men today. What was your first impression of that opening?
The immediate feeling is one of deep grievance, really. Strong language, the sense that men are, under attack. Not just emotionally, but financially, socially.
Right, and the author uses their own experience, right? Divorce seems key.
Yeah, a transformative experience, but described very negatively.
Yeah.
It sets the stage for this much broader critique of society. It's not just personal, it's presented as systemic.
And a big piece of that, introduced early on, is hypergamy. Can you unpack how the book explains that?
Sure. The ebook presents hypergamy as this fundamental drive, evolutionarily ingrained, it argues, in women, to seek partners of higher status.
Status meaning?
Well, resources, social standing, maybe perceived dominance, that kind of thing. The book argues it's not new, not modern, but deep biological programming, shaping mate selection forever, basically.
And they use history to back this up.
Exactly. Yeah. It points to things like post-war societies, medieval social structures, trying to show this pattern of women marrying up as a constant.
So the idea is, even if we talk about love and equality now, the underlying biology hasn't changed.
That's the argument, that modern society might kind of mask these dynamics, but they're still operating underneath.
Which then leads into this very provocative phrase, the marriage plantation. What's the argument there?
The marriage plantation, as the author terms it, is basically the modern legal and social setup around marriage.
Okay.
And the argument is that this system has evolved specifically to disadvantage men, financially, legally, turning them into essentially resources to be, extract. Yeah. And the author points a finger directly at feminist ideologies for shaping and perpetuating this system.
It's a really strong analogy. It suggests systemic exploitation almost.
It does. And it connects to this other idea, beta provisioning. How does the book lay that out?
Right. Beta provisioning.
It's explained through that evolutionary lens again. arguing that men who are, hardworking, focused on providing resources, the beta male, in this view, they're actually, maybe inadvertently, supporting the reproductive success of other men.
The alpha.
The alphas, exactly. Men with supposedly more desirable traits. The book uses this example of a man working hard, paying child support.
For kids that aren't biologically his.
Right, as a prime example of this beta provisioning concept in action.
That's a pretty brutal assessment. It's like saying these beta guys aren't failing personally. They're just fulfilling a biological role, often hurting themselves in the process.
That pretty much captures it. It's a very deterministic view, isn't it? Downplays individual choice, emphasizes what the author sees as just the cold logic of evolution.
And then there's the estrogen algorithm. Catchy name. Not actual computer code, though.
No, it's metaphorical. The author uses it to describe what they believe is this innate biological driver of female mate choice. This algorithm, the book says, inherently prioritizes status and resources over, well, maybe other things.
And they use examples to illustrate this.
Yeah, things like mentioning Ukrainian refugees seeking provision or historical war brides,
Well.
used as evidence that this prioritization is just deeply wired in.
So again, the argument is not social conditioning, not modern trends, but fundamental.
That's the claim. And this algorithm is supposedly working even in modern dating, like on the apps.
So?
Well, the author looks at data from dating platforms, the low percentage of right swipes by women, and interprets that as evidence of this estrogen algorithm filtering, even with tons of choices, filtering subconsciously for men who signal status and resources.
The book also brings up figures like Andrew Tate and this idea of becoming an ungovernable sigma male. How does that connect?
Tate and similar figures are presented as kind of example. Men who found success influenced by basically rejecting the standard rules and expectations.
He's ungovernable.
Exactly. It fits the theme. Suggests men should focus on their own autonomy, their own success, their self-interest. Instead of playing by rules the author thinks are rigged against them.
And there's this constant thread of historical parallels, right? Connecting today to the distant past. Why the emphasis there, do you think?
Well, using this historical parallel seems to be about reinforcing the main argument. That the basic dynamics, power, mating, social stuff haven't really changed that much, despite how things look on the surface.
So drawing lines from Viking raids or medieval dowries to today.
Yeah, it's an attempt to show that certain human behaviors are just enduring, predictable even, according to this view.
Okay, let's shift to this other concept, the covert femme surname strategy. Sounds intriguing. What's the author's take?
This part looks at women taking their husband's last name, both during marriage and sometimes, after it ends.
Okay, tradition for many.
But the author argues it's not just tradition or romance, it's strategic for social, maybe financial advantage.
How so? Strategic how?
By associating with the man's name, the argument goes, they gain access to his social capital, his status, even potentially after the relationship itself is over.
So the book sees it as a calculated move, leveraging a man's achievements, even in divorce. That example of the woman keeping the ex's political surname seems to fit that.
Exactly. The author points to cases like that women keeping the married name post-divorce as evidence of strategically holding on to that social capital. It's framed as, a deliberate tactic to keep advantages linked to the ex-husband's standing.
And they even use fictional examples, like Claire Underwood from House of Cards.
Right. Those fictional examples are used to kind of highlight the point, to argue that surnames can be real tools for social climbing or maintaining influence. Referencing characters people know makes the argument feel maybe more tangible.
Makes sense. Then there's monkey branching. What does the ebook mean by that term in relationship?
Monkey branching, as the book describes it, is this alleged pattern where women strategically move from one relationship to the next.
How strategic?
Often by having the next partner sort of lined up before ending the current one, like a monkey swinging branch to branch, never letting go of one until they have a secure grip on the next.
So ensuring continuous support and maybe upgrading.
That's the idea. Continuous support and potentially moving to a higher status partner. It's presented not as just emotional decisions, but as well calculated.
And this connects to another theory mentioned.
Yeah, the book links it to something called the Tesla threshold theory. The idea that women might leave when a man's income doesn't meet certain lifestyle expectations anymore.
Okay.
And this is presented as evidence of that strategic monkey branching, always looking for better resources.
And again, examples from pop culture. Eat, pray, love.
Yeah, cultural examples like that, while maybe anecdotal, are used to suggest that what's often framed as female self-discovery.
Leaving a relationship for personal growth.
Right. Might, from this specific perspective, have underlying motives about securing a, let's say, more advantageous next partnership.
Okay. Lastly, let's touch on this pretty stark term. The beta male extinction event. What's the argument here?
Yeah, that chapter paints a pretty dire picture. For men who embody what the author calls beta traits, prioritizing emotional vulnerability, big romantic gestures, traditional chivalry, that sort of thing. The argument is these traits are increasingly seen as unattractive by women.
Leading to
Fewer successful relationships for these men, and ultimately a kind of social and even reproductive disadvantage, an extinction event, as the book dramatically puts it.
And the examples used are men trying hard but failing, like alpha mastery programs or grand gestures that fall flat.
Yes, the author argues those attempts to fit some ideal often come across as, like, inauthentic or even desperate. The idea is that women are sort of biologically tuned to detect genuine high status and competence, and these performative acts often miss the mark, leading to bad outcomes for the beta guy.
It's definitely a really direct perspective, sometimes unsettling, on modern male-female dynamics.
It is. It's a viewpoint that certainly challenges a lot of the standard narratives out there.
Offers a starkly different interpretation.
Yeah.
Heavily rooted in evolutionary biology, at least as the author interprets it.
Okay. Well, remember, this has been our deep dive into some key arguments from this particular ebook. You can obviously explore these ideas way more deeply yourself.
Yeah, grab a copy on Amazon Kindle or Google Playbooks if you want the full picture.
And to keep exploring complex topics like this with us.
Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the deep dive. It really helps us out.
And for more content, more perspectives that might resonate with this viewpoint, definitely check out @ConradLiker on Substack.
That's @ConradLiker on Substack. So, just to recap this deep dive, we've navigated some pretty striking arguments from the ebook, haven't we?
We definitely have. We looked at hypergamy as that evolutionary foundation.
Right, and the critical view of modern marriage, the marriage plantation.
The estrogen algorithm idea shaping mate choice.
And those strategic interpretations of things like surname changes, relationship transition. Yeah, the covert femme surname strategy.
Yeah.
Monkey branching, and that stark warning about a beta male extinction.
What really stands out is how the author tries to connect the dots, between evolutionary biology, historical patterns, and what they see happening right now.
It's undeniably a unique perspective, and for some people, probably quite compelling, given the challenges men face today.
So the question back to you, the listener, after hearing all this, what aspects of these historical or biological takes on relationships and society, what resonates most with you?
And maybe, how might these insights make you think differently about your own approaches, your observations?
It's worth considering. And again, we really encourage you to read the full ebook, engage with all the arguments, look at the evidence presented.
And form your own informed conclusion. That's key.
You can find it now on Amazon Kindle and Google Playbooks.
And if you found this deep dive useful, thought-provoking,
Yeah.
please hit like, hit subscribe. We'll have more discussions like this.
Absolutely. And one last reminder to follow @ConradRiker on Substack for more related content.
Okay, well, the game continues, as they say.
And knowledge, understanding the dynamics,
Yeah.
that's your edge. Stay sharp.